Hey, hey, hey. We made it.
Hi. Hi.
Having a
I,
little bit of technical difficulty. I can't even say it. But we're
It's okay.
here.
It's Mercury retrograde, so we can use that as an excuse.
Is it
Absolutely.
no tongue
Yeah.
kissing today because you'll be tongue tied, ladies and gentlemen. So no. It's Mercury. Blame it on Mercury retrograde. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
Mhm.
Um, Terry, introducing Dr. Mary Wilson, our beautiful shaman sister. I
Yeah.
don't know if you want to say some words about her. But
Well,
this is
we're
definitely her
happy.
second time being here. But yes,
Yes, we're absolutely delighted that Mary's joining us again. It's been a few months since we had her, and today she's going to talk about the cosmos and the stars and the sun and the moon and our interplay with and our responsibilities as a cosmic citizen. And Mary has been um, well, Mary, you tell us about yourself. I mean, you are so multifaceted. You've been a huge influence on my life, and I thank you for all that you have done for me over the years. But you've also helped many people over the years, and just tell us a little bit about what you're doing these days, other than being the wonderful shaman that you are.
Well, the healing work is always so busy because you know that I do a lot of healing work because I have a gift with my hands. And so, and when you're a seer, like hereditarily, I come from so many different lines of shamanic lineage. But beyond that, let's just jump right in. Beyond that, where do we come from? And it doesn't necessarily just mean where do you come from in the place that you were born. Like, where do we come from? Are we a part of the stars? Well, of course we're a part of the stars because human life is all about being a part of the stars and being a part of, we have the same DNA as the stars. So when you have light inside of you, it becomes a choice on what you're going to choose to do with that light. Like, what are you doing with your light? What do you do? What do I do with my light? Well, my choice is to share it with many people as I can. To I do ceremony work. I do all kinds of different things that keep it real for me, keep me engaged. And I think that when we're talking about cosmic healing, when we're talking about being a part of a great div- this divine energy that is part of all realities, I think that we have to be in constant state of movement. And when we're in constant state of movement, because everything's in movement, when you breathe, you're in movement. But what are you going to do with yourself to be a part of that life? What are you going to do with the energy that you carry? What is your belief system? What do you want to believe in? What do you want to research? Like, research is always a part of it too, is look into it. If you don't know, figure it out. Get going. You don't have to be a university graduate. It's nice to be a university graduate, but guess what? Not everybody's a university graduate. But it doesn't mean that they just don't stand in absolute brilliance and their own divine self. And so when you figure out, like, just to talk about some of the things that I've done, like I've done healing work, I've had a television series as a psychic for Saturday Night Psychic. I've done some movie work. I've done different things throughout my life. I've done a lot of blessing. I've been hired as an environmental consultant because I got rid of hauntings in big city buildings and they didn't know how to pay me, so that's how they paid. It's been it's been a bit of a road for sure, because not everybody wants to acknowledge the unforeseen. Well, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. You don't see your own breath unless it's winter, but you know it's there, right? You don't see the beat of your heart, but you can feel it. You can't see a smell of a barbecue, but you can smell it. So how far do our extrasensories go beyond our own senses? It goes, it's vast. It's 100 feet beyond your own body. Some of the other things that I've done is facilitated groups through a university on alien abductees, for alien abductees, people that have felt that they were abducted by aliens, and how to be able to cope and deal with that, and understand that just because it's not somebody else's reality doesn't mean it's not yours or somebody, like everybody has their own reality and their own pathway. So you have to find out what pathway works for you, what makes sense to you. If you do research with yourself and your own inner core being, where do you connect to in your cosmic energy? Where do you connect to? Is it the seventh star beyond the sun? Or is it a planet in a different galactic or a different, completely different dimension? And who's to say that there isn't, this is my belief, it doesn't have to be anybody else's, but I believe that and you'll hear me say it, we're a cellophane slice away from one another when it comes to realities and understanding of different cosmos and different energies and different projections. Do I think that there were, do I think that there were dinosaurs? Of course, I thought there were dinosaurs, but do I think that there were dragons? Yes, I think there were dragons and all the mystical, wonderful creatures that we have had in our minds and bodies. I think there was a reality base to them all. Do I think water has a spirit? Yes, I think water has a spirit. Do I think the earth has a spirit? Yes, I think the earth has a spirit. That's why they call her mother. It's because she gives us so much, right? Mother Earth. What do you get from Mother Earth? And that comes from the indigenous teachings. And then there's the teachings of the trees and the teachings of the sky and the teachings of the stars and the teachings of the cosmos and being open. And have I ever seen UFOs and things like that? Of course I have. Yes, I have. Numerous times. Have I been directly affected? Numerous times. Does it affect me daily? I think when it comes to being a loving, generous, kind, because that is something I believe is necessary to have a sense of spirituality, is kindness and humility. But I think that, I'm those things. So my reality, if somebody says, I have seen this, I go like this. Oh, talk to me about it. I don't tell them that it's not real or it's not their experience. Who am I to say that? That would be pretty awful of me as a person that really wants the well-being of all people and all realities. Do I believe that some diseases have hidden meanings to it? Of course I do. Do I think there's life after death? Yep. I do. Do I think there's many lifetimes? Yeah, I do. Because energy travels, energy moves. And I can't, in this lifetime here, I cannot prove that that is not true. So I have to believe that there is that possibility. Right? And, as a hypnotherapist and as somebody who's studied in different things in different realms and all these years of work, I have seen things that I believe has been meant for me to see. I've seen spirit. I hear them. If there's something that's not right, know that I'm one of the first ones in the room to know. Do I see energy? Do I see disease? Of course, I'm a medical intuitive. So it shows up in so many different ways, but I've always been open to it since I was a young child and I had a near death experience. When you have that opportunity to connect with spirit, and call it what you want to call it, I have no problems with language and names. But when you have that gift come to you, even though sometimes gifts come at a very painful experience, don't think that there wasn't pain attached. There certainly was, because I came back to a human body and I wasn't out of my body. But that was an experience I had that pushed me forward to know. And when you are given that information at such a young age, I was only 10 years old when that information came, and I had that near death experience. I've probably had more than a few, but when you step over into that reality, it's a reality that then goes into the brain like computer program. Once it's programmed, it's programmed. And once it's a part of your reality, it's a part of your reality. So when you see spirits and they're talking to you, and there's this voice that comes and says, you have to go back. You're not done. This is what it means. This is what you'll see. This is what will happen. And this is how you will know that it's true. And all those things come to pass. It changes you forever. And when you live your life without doubt, and you learn trust on that level, I'm not saying trust this, I'm talking about the trust that there is something so great in your life that you can go there when you need and know that there'll be help or no help, whatever, or clarity or something, a sign, a signal, maybe no sign, no signal. And you have to trust. And if you don't trust, then it doesn't become a part of your reality. Your reality that you create is the reality you create. So if you create a reality that is filled with mistrust, nastiness, skepticism, then that's your reality. But that's not my reality. Because my reality is filled with hope and dreams and possibilities. And so when you looking at those cosmos, and you see the cosmos with all the beautiful colors, and you go, wow, I've seen this before. I've heard those sounds before. I've heard the whirring of an engine that is silent. And what do we have now? We have cars that have no sound. So we're all projecting different pieces of ourselves into the future to bring it back in today's world, because time is malleable. It's neither here nor there. It's not up, it's not down, it's not back, it's not forth. It is in the experience of the moment. And the understanding of yesterday, tomorrow is a thought process and a form of a program in your mind. Just like wearing a piece of amber. Now, I know that amber has incredible energy, and I've never wanted any amber, but a very dear person to me bought me a piece of amber, so of course I'm going to wear it. And I know that there's a spirit in the stone because it's now whispering to me. So, okay, I'll go with that. Why wouldn't I? Right? And if it's helping me physically, because some stones help you physically. Different stones have different purposes and different reasons because they're all a part. Yes, I have meteorite. I wear it all the time. There's things and places where meteors have dropped, and those energies are so hot. It's like you can't even touch them, and then others you can hold. And it's like, I held a piece of, I went to my favorite crystal store and I held a great big wand of healer's gold. It's the black, which is obsidian and gold base, the pyrite base, and it's mixed together. And I held that. And then I'll tell you, it was like my mind was like, whoop. So everything that we hold and just see, feel has an effect on our physicality, our body, our mind, and what comes from that as an experience from the soul. How's that to start? I can't hear you, love. Can you hear me?
Erica, you're muted.
And I'm loving that you started out with cryptid knowledge. Like when we think about unicorns and the fish with two heads and what we would consider mythical creatures. And I don't know why anybody has a problem. Like people can believe in dinosaurs, but not dragons. And it's like, wait a minute, would that not be kind of the same thing? And I look at maps. I was like in Armenia and I saw some maps and I was loving that they had those really old maps and it had different kinds of sea creatures and things with wings and things like that. Why is it so hard to believe that? I don't believe that they put things in books and on these maps just for fun. I really don't think that.
No.
It's funny how it's just been erased from us, that it's become so hard to believe. Yeah. When in my heart and my soul, I believe it fully. As a small child, I would go look for them. So I don't think the human mind really is that imaginative.
No.
Even to put together the Lord of the Rings, like, no, that's not her imagination. Harry Potter, that's not imagination. To me, that's pulling back the veil into a time or a place that actually exists.
Yes, it's one of those windows, right?
It's a window. Yeah.
It's a window where the imagination has a peek in and brings that information back. And then we own it as imagination and as storytelling. But,
yeah.
But it's a window. We still have to go looking. We still have to peek through,
We do. But, and I want to say this too, because, okay, so you can't have TV shows from the early 1900s up until today. They've always talked about dinosaurs, mermaids, and aliens, and time travel. So why is it so hard for us to believe? And then that goes into what you were saying about belief work. Belief is power.
It is, because it's an energy string. That we have many strings of energy, and some of it is belief, and some of it comes in different ways. Some of it is creating that physicality connected to the belief, and there's just so much. But let me just step back for 1 second. That they have actually found the bones of a wing of dragon wings. I think it's in Australia. So now we know we have, now for the linear thinkers out there, there is proof of dragons. It's being proven over and over as research gets stronger and stronger, and we become less fearful. And that is what it is. As we become less fearful, we are discovering a whole new world out there that is going to be very exciting. And it doesn't have to be the ending. It can be the beginning. It depends on what you want right now and your manifestation of what you're thinking, with understanding of other people's realities. And that's the key. That's the window. So when we have windows that open ourselves up to other realities, other time, other places, other ways of understanding and knowing, when you have those times and those windows, those windows are meant to be traveled through, even in our own bodies. Your eyes are a window. How many times do we hear your eyes are the window to your soul? How many times? Not only can you see out, but people can see in. Absolutely.
And in certain cultures, protecting yourself from eye contact is also important.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, well, it's beyond intimacy, right? It's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And some cultures, it's important to have eye contact so we can see you, right?
mhm.
Let
So
me
we
see.
can judge,
Let,
yes, the
let
truth.
me see you. Let me be with you. Let me just. But it's that whole permission. So if somebody doesn't want to give you eye contact, it's their form of saying you don't have permission. If somebody does give you eye contact, it's their form of giving permission. And so, you got to think of things as there's a language out there also in the universe. It's also never ending. Not only is it mathematical equations and things that are flying through the air and different formulas and it is also learning how to respect each other as divine universes inside of a universe. Each body is different and unique. Each planet is different and unique. Each cosmos is different and unique. Right? There is that piece of being a universe inside of a universe. And on another universe. So what is a planet? Is a planet the place that you walk on? Yes. What is the body? Is that a planet that you have? Yes. Is your body possibly a planet where other things walk on? Yes. Of course. Is there a germ that's alive? Of course. Is that something that you're going to have as part of your reality? Maybe, maybe not. But if it is, it's to learn from, understand, and grow beyond. Like it's again another journey in the journey, right? And not that illness is a good thing. I didn't say it's good or bad. That would make a judgment. It just is. It is. And so the experience becomes the experience. You see? So the experience I choose is to experience love, to experience kindness, to experience and to give those to have those things. You have to give those things because you're not going to get it unless you give it. So respect. And this is why some of the indigenous teachings are so important, because not only are they from long times before us, and every culture has them as a map to the future. It's mapping. So that's why some of the ceremonies work in different places all over the world. That is why they work, is because it gives you a place to experience and give yourself permission to experience fully. And so, for example, when somebody is in, say, I don't want to name one ceremony over the other. Let's say you come to North America and you want to participate in a ceremony with the original peoples of North America. Well, then, if you're going to go into those ceremonies, you have to give it up and go into those ceremonies, but not as somebody that's pretending that they have that knowledge, but to experience it with people that carry that knowledge so you can learn from it and understand your own pathways. So if I go to places across the earth, like if I was to go to, for example, where would I go? Where do I want to go today? If I wanted to go to the Tibetan mountains, if I wanted to go to the Himalayas, first I'd go to the water there and talk to the water. That would be the first thing I would do at the bottom of those rivers, because I've met people from that's fighting for their life. And so as somebody in North America that fights for the life of the water, um, being with somebody that fights for the life of water in another part of the planet that I walk upon, I would definitely go there. But then I'd go up into the mountains and I would give it up. And if I was requested to fast for 10 days, I'd fast for 10 days. And if I was asked to be a part of their ceremony, to give up my worldly possessions, and I wanted to be a part of that ceremony, I'd give up my worldly possessions. And if I wanted to go to Hawaii and to be a part of their luau's or a part of the Maori ceremonies, I would do what was requested of me to be able to understand. Just understand that there's more than meets the eye, the ears, the mouth, and that place of judgment, the brain. So I would go for the experience of kindness, love, respect. I would take on like my teachings of here, which are really based deeply within humility and honesty and trust and hard work and different things, love and respect and patience, which was never easy for me. It's always going to be a journey for me to learn patience, even though I appear to be one of the most patient people. It is work for me. I kid you not. So it's about the taking what you know and trusting that you know it in part of a way, because you don't know everything fully. That would be ridiculous. But to experience what you experience and then be able to share where you come from with where other people come from and be able to share experiences and knowledge and be able to be in the presence of good spirit, I think would be great. But I would do what was requested of me. You bet. When they asked me to walk over in one of the ceremonies that I participated in, when they asked me to walk over the hot rocks, the lava rocks, the burning lava rocks. Do you remember when I did that, Terry? Were you around then? When I did the fire walking?
I remember you telling me about it.
Yeah. Well, when I did the fire walking, thank goodness I had hypnotherapy underneath my belt, because in hypnotherapy you're taught different things, like you can burn yourself with a piece of ice, or you can cool yourself with there's different things that you can learn with the power of the mind. And thank goodness I had that training underneath me. So training is good because it's training. So training's also like you can't be an athlete if you're not going to train, right? So it's a different kind of training. And that trained me to be able to give it up. That was a big give it up moment. So, but that was a long time ago. I don't know if I'd be so quick today, you know. But if somebody asked me to ride a horse and be in touch with the spirit of a horse, to understand the power of the sky, I would know what that means. I would know what that means. Because if you ever truly hear the spirit of a horse and their body and their ability to reflect, to be able to reflect emotion, is a powerful healer, fantastic healer. But you gotta leave your arrogance out the door, believe me, or else that horse might just swing around and give you a teaching. And you may not want that type of teaching, So you learn different things from different people, and sometimes it's harsh and sometimes it's soft. But when we're talking about cosmos and healing and star people, I know, because I've experienced. I know I've experienced for over 40 years, easy, what it means to trust that there is. Because not only have I had the gift of all the electrical being shot in my car because I took a picture or two of a spaceship, and just the energy of it just shot, it just fried the energy of my car out in Ontario, Canada, out in the backwoods, way far away, where there wasn't people, and it was a good experience. But my car actually, after they left, about 2 days later, it seemed to kind of like correct its own energy. I guess they were being kind to me and said, okay, you can have it back now. Did you get that? you know? But being able to, there's been photographs and spiritual energies and ancestors that have sat with me on the shore of water. I can't deny that. I would be lying if I did. I would not be honest. I've had that privilege of being able to sit with the dead, to be able to experience the energies, to be able to be with people that aren't necessarily from this planet. I'm privileged. That to me is privilege. A lot of people look at privilege as cash. I look at privilege as experience. I am so privileged. I'm privileged to be able to have known what birth is. I'm privileged to know what death is. I'm privileged to know what the cosmos have to teach us, and the fact that my brain is very limited in when it comes to the truth of really what's out there, but also with the openness to say, hey, but I'm still growing. I'm still changing. And there are new currents of electricity coming to me all the time. And I can adjust. How's that for a thought?
I'm just thinking that there's this stillness and a calmness about you, like a unmovable strength. And I think like the power that you have comes from your ability to stand firm in your beliefs and your experiences, that you don't doubt them. And I think maybe some people are wondering, like, why don't I feel this, or why don't I have certain experiences? But it's that level of stillness that you're open to listen, you're open to experience, and you're open to see. Because I can imagine like working with a horse, you have to have that time and the patience and a respect, because I think like the animals, the birds, the animals, nature has to be respected first. And I don't know if you wanted to speak on that, like acknowledgement and respecting it. And it's interesting because I was trying to get a new something in my backyard, and Terry said, well, why don't you talk to the land and see, like we could come up with a mutual agreement to see if it was ready. Because I was ready, but was it ready? Did I acknowledge it? And so there's something that comes from that native past that was this greater respect that we take for granted at this point in time.
Well, I think there's a lot of pieces to that. I do. I think there's a lot of pieces to that. And I don't think it matters necessarily where you come from. You have that innate ability to connect to wherever it is that you're born from. That piece of land, this is one of my thoughts and beliefs, is that we are born into the land. We are born from the land. Like, we end up where we're meant to be. We end up where we're meant to be because there's teaching, because there's a connection. There's a root that recognizes you. There's a root underneath that ground. Like, when you think that mushrooms can communicate underground faster than the speed of light, now we know that, right? Like, how is the earth always talking to us? How fast is it? And is it faster than the speed of light? Of course it is. Even though we're not in that land, we're on that land, and our energy is a constant weave going into wherever it is that we are standing. So if you are from another country, but your family, for whatever reason, ends up here, or I end up there, that's not because of any other reason other than there's an energy, a root that's calling your spirit. And that somebody in your family says, we got to go there. They may not understand it. There's war, but there's still something calling you to that part of your land to help your spirit to evolve. And so if I was to go somewhere else in the world, I would connect with respect to those original teachings, and I'd be open to being open.
That makes sense, because in your birth chart, you factor in your place of birth in your birth chart, right? And that changes things.
Correct. Now you got it. And so even the birth charts with all the stars that are coming and the planets that are coming, and it's going to be so much more intense than what it already is. But, there is something absolutely to that, right? That it's about the experience. It's not about anything else. It's about the experience of being. It's the experience of being a part of this timeline. It's about what we can leave behind in a good way, not a harsh way. It's about taking what is harmful and understanding why that is. It's about taking what makes your heart race and understanding what that is. It's about knowing the difference between control and emotional wellness. It's about teachings all over the world coming together. This would be what I would like to see happen, and I would absolutely get there if I could and will. I'm hoping one day that we as people can continue to gather and share teachings and experiences that will literally help raise that vibration. So when we levitate a little bit off of that world, when our spirit, not our feet, are you hearing me now? When our feet stay on the ground, but our spirit levitates a little off of that ground and gives the Mother Earth a little bit of a breather from where we've been going, because we are becoming a unified mind, spirit, and body of healing. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the gathering and to being, they used to call it way back in the day, giant think tanks, to see if we could change the different things, and so
Weather.
to share,
Yeah.
to be able to share knowledge and to explore the possibilities of what tomorrow could be and how we can co-create, I think would be phenomenal. And I look forward to talking to people that have that, other people that have information and that there's a possibility of that guidance coming automatically through. And you're right, there is a stillness, because one of the first things I learned when I was burned at 3, right, was to be still. was to be still and leave my body. I left my body at 3 years old. And was it pain induced? Of course it was. My body was being damaged by something that was foreign, right? To me. And then again at 6, and then at 10 when I had the near death experience. So I have had out of body experiences all my life. And so has everybody else. They have it when they dream. So for me, it taught me. It was a teaching. Leave your body. Can you control this? Leave your body. Can you go there? Leave your body. This is here. Leave your body. Da, da, da. So for me, when say I'm going to be with a horse and there's a horse and it's all, and I just leave my body a little bit. I still my mind, and I leave my body just a little bit, and I go into that altered state of consciousness. And I pretty much live there now, in an altered state of consciousness. Even when we're talking here, I'm still altered because I'm trained, and that anybody can learn is how to train their mind to be altered. And when you're altered, you automatically become patient, still, and open. And so that would be one of the things that I would encourage people to do is learn that stillness, learn meditation, learn how to trust your dreams. Know that you're fly at night. Don't be afraid of it. You'll fall back. And when you come back too far or too fast, you'll feel like you're hitting the deck. And I remember one time I bounced right out of bed.
And you're saying altered, but really it's connecting with your multidimensional self is one way to say that.
Yes.
I don't want anybody to be confused like alternate personalities, but altered states of being.
State of being. That's correct.
Yeah.
So it's also dealing with the different layers of cosmos and being able to travel through windows. Right?
Windows, yeah.
Windows, different strands. So when we have strands of energy, whether it be because the sky, because we can see this, if there's energy and there's a strand, you can travel on those strands and you can travel in between them. And it's just getting to that point of understanding through traveling through windows. Something so, I make it sound so easy. But it's trusting, it really is. And so, yeah.
It's amazing that you brushed across that because you said that there was a string, basically. I wanted to say it right. This string that connects the energy into the physical, like your beliefs into the physical. This morning, I was listening to Vianna Stivel, and she was like saying how all healers are not the same, because with your healer too, the strength that they get is from their belief, the levels of beliefs and
experiences. That's correct.
And their experiences. And then too, as the person who is being worked with, coached, whether it be coaching or physical healing, if your belief system is telling you that it's not going to work, then it really doesn't matter how gifted and talented the other person is. You cut off the actual healing. So it's up to you to decide to receive. Even if I get acupuncture, I'm like, I'm taking this in on the highest level, like I want to receive all of it. I want to receive it to the highest and fullest power.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And when you receive to the highest, and sometimes you travel along different strings of realities and different cosmos that aren't so comfortable or are very comfortable. Some are like just beautiful and lovely and energy. It's all energy. But some are like, all right, let's go here, So as somebody that as somebody who has experienced different ceremonies and different ways of understanding, even the ink on my body to me is a ceremony, you know. There is experience that happens as a result of those things. And that also takes you in between those lines of energy into different places and different places of understanding. And you know, when you connect with somebody, for example, when I went to New Zealand and I connected with this wonderful woman, her name was Pip. And she said, and I said, I just want something to remember New Zealand by, not understanding something that innately she knew. She knew inside of her is that I have a root that goes way back to New Zealand. One's in Ireland, you know, like I'm definitely from lots of different places in the world. But she started to chant, and I said, okay. She says, can I do what I want to do? And I thought, okay, so that'll be small because her time is really precious and I respect that. And I said, sure. And, you know, I'm from Canada, I want an experience. But she started to chant and she sang over my arm. And so in 2 hours, this is what she designed. I don't think you can see all of it. Oh, you can't. But anyway, she designed this powerful, I call it a powerful skin patch of who you are. And she told me my whole life story that she had put on my arm. The struggles, the spirit, the balance, my helpers, the wolf eyes, the star people, the spiritual helpers, and what I do for a living. And she put it all here, and then she told me all about it. What a gift. Don't tell me she didn't peek through a window. Of course she did. How lucky am I to have that happen? To be able to experience somebody else's gift of knowing, of being, of doing, of seeing. Divine. That's what I say. It was divine. So each person has different doorways that they're meant to travel through. And when you listen to somebody say not every healer is alike, that would be true because each of us are an individual planet on a planet. Each of us are a divine string of light and a divine reality and in a timeline that may be different than other people's. Right? So each one has a completely unique strand. It's in understanding yourself is where the practice, the teachings, the work of it comes from, right? That's where you learn how to be an apprentice to divine existence, connected to the space and the cosmos, in between timelines and warps and spins and colors and everything and anything that could be a possibility. See, so it's like that for me. Has times been hard? Oh my gosh. I don't think that I could feel so much love. I think that there is a spectrum that I somewhere put in my reality, and that is if you're going to experience love, you're going to experience pain. And so have I experienced pain? Oh my gosh. Spiritual, emotional, physical, and whatever kind, to the max. But I've also experienced divine joy, love, kindness, oneness, Learning how to love yourself is very important to be able to accept you for who you are. Change what you can, deal with what you can, but to embrace the possibilities of traveling these rivers of light and love and divine being keeps you centered and still. How's that? Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I just have to recap that because for people, I think a lot of people would like to experience love and higher levels of love, but there is a limited willingness to risk the pain because love, I think like you can try to be cautious, but love is being willing to give something even if you don't get it in return, right? You know, like there's these different things that
Yeah.
that we do to limit ourselves and to block it and to reserve it and to control it. Like you say, it's giving up control. And I guess I'd like if you expand on this. I think like people need that drilled in. It can't be abundant if you're going to be cheap with it. You know what I mean?
Oh no, you can't. You can't have lots if you're not prepared. Love has got two sides to it. You can't have love if you can't. You have to be able to receive love, and that's our biggest hold up there. Is because most of us can give love. We can give love. We can open doors. We can be kind. We can be loving. We can get to make breakfast. We can be great lovers and all that stuff. But how do we receive it? Do we receive well? Do we receive well? And do we have enough self-love to not settle for the divine experience that we already are giving out? So that's the teaching in love, is you have to be able to love yourself to the degree that you are prepared to give and be able to accept that. And if that's not coming, just be forgiving that it's just not that person that time. It's okay to not have it like you want it, but want it.
It's right up there with grace.
Yes. Well,
You can't have grace and forgiveness if you don't give grace and forgiveness. It's hard to.
But if you don't forgive yourself for being present in a situation, how are you supposed to ever be in that forgiveness? You can't be. So you have to also be aware of forgiving yourself. If you say you go out with some loser, you fall in love with them, but they're not able to give you the kind of love that you want. You have to love yourself enough to say, well, this is not the right fit in my pathway, in my energy of being. See?
This was so on point with the feelings I've had in the last day or so, because you're just you're stomping on the toes. And my question to someone was, you were willing to love someone else so much, but did you give it to yourself first? And I came up with a self-emancipation sovereignty proclamation. It's like your Declaration of Independence, because you have to write a contract to yourself.
Yes.
How do you promise to love yourself?
So let me throw one more thing, because
Throw it in there. I love it.
Because of the times that we're in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And God-fearing thoughts, which I don't get into, not at all. But people are afraid of love, of spirit, of this, of that, because they're afraid that they're never enough because of that word sin. There's really no such thing. There's making choices of right and wrong. I'm really stepping on a thin wire here, but I'll go there. But it's also what you see as your divine experience, and if let's just use that term. If you were God and God was you, would it be enough? And if you are in tune with your own divine life, and this is where some of those terms come from, right? But if we are a part of everything, then how can we be away from anything?
No separation, right?
There's no separation.
Right.
There's no separation. So to experience what you experience, you have to make a choice to what you need and want in your life. Because if you are co-creating with the creator of all life, whatever that may be, or the energy of the ninth cosmo and the 15th realm, you're still creating and you're still accepting. So what are you accepting? And what do you need to accept? And that's where forgiveness isn't, that you have to just forgive yourself, but sometimes we got to forgive ourselves for choosing the lesson as well. And then release it, because we own nothing. We own nothing, not even our own bodies.
And
Do we have to ask ourselves what we want to experience?
Well, I think we know what we want to experience. But I think because of the energy centers and because of what you've experienced as a contract at the time, and the walking on the part of the earth, and who you were born to and who you've given birth to and who you're connected to and all those things that could get really complicated, I think you got to keep it really simple. And just say, what do I want? What's in my best interest? Do I know? Maybe not. Okay, then I better find out. And then you do your research. So as complicated as it is, it's also very simple, because you'll find those divine answers in the quietness of your mind, when you're sitting on a shore with your ancestors beside you, whether or not you can see them, and your imagination wide open, and the call to spiritual wonder. And when you have that calling to spiritual wonder, you're going to see a fish. A wave will lap a certain way. A cloud will pass. Somebody will say hello. But your essence and your being will be peaceful, because when you're in peace, you're in love. That's love. Peace is love. And excitement is love. And sadness is part of love. Like, it's a divine experience of being with choice.
it's what you are. We had a good conversation about this the other day, that it's like you think you need another person to be in love, but a lot of times the love we're experiencing, the part that we enjoy is we love how we love other people, and we love that energy that we create when we can express our love. We're looking for places to put it, places to share it. And so it's like you have it all the time with you.
You do. You always have opportunity. That opportunity is given to us. I live in a city where there's a lot of disparities. It's a very, very, it's a very hard place to live for a lot of people.
Mhm.
When I went outside to smudge today, before this, I take people where I work, and I went out to smudge, and people walk up and say, "Can I be with you?" And smile. Of course you can. And so I get to give them that moment where they're in love with themselves, the creation of all being, where they're making the choice to see good things and hear good things and speak good things and feel good things in the moment. That's love. Absolutely love. Even when some guy's like, oh, like, what are they doing? I'm like, come on over. Come have an experience. And I can see it in the smile in their eyes. It's good. It's just good. It feels right to me, but that's my experience. But when they say thank you or ekose or miigwech or whatever it is, whatever language they choose to say it in, I already know that they're thankful and grateful, and I trust that. So I have a very, very big trust in love as well. Yeah. So I trust that love will be, and that love will continue to be until, as long as the river grows, as long as the river goes and the grass grows, I will be in love with life, you know?
So Mary, just just to answer Jax's question,
Yeah.
she was asking where you are, where in Canada you are. Well,
Central Canada, yeah.
So Jax, just so you know, Jax, Mary's kind of just down the road from me. So this is I'm so honored to have her in my life. And Deborah is asking, Mary, have you experienced animals like insects and the lands literally speaking to you or telepathically?
Every day, endlessly, all the time, never stops. Yes.
Yeah, because I believe Deborah's had these experiences, and people call her a witch or an alien and all sorts of things because of having that connection with.
That's a gift. It's a gift of knowing, when people don't understand something, sometimes in their narrow-mindedness or in their fear, they want to not have that in their lives because they haven't been given their life circumstances hasn't given them the same opportunity. So keep on keeping on, and trust what you hear from nature. It's very much alive, and everything that has life, everything that you can see, feel, touch, has life, has energy, and has an essence and a being in a form of communication. Even when you put your feet on a sharp rock, is communicating with me, with you or me or whoever, that they don't want to be stepped on. Okay, sorry. And I sort of, oh, sorry. So do people look at me as if I'm wacky? Sometimes. But then there's other people that embrace me and love me, and I'm good. Some people aren't nice, so be kind to them, even in their ignorance. Because, if they don't know, they don't know. And ignorance isn't a negative to me. Ignorance is that you just don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know, you don't know. They just don't know. And what a lovely gift you have, being able to communicate. Beautiful.
So I have a question for you, and I don't know whether you want to go there or not, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So we have teachings from Indigenous peoples from all over the world. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I wonder what happened.
No.
I can hear her. I mean, I can hear you. I can't hear you, Mary.
Can you hear me, Mary? Can't hear you.
She might have to go out and come back in again if she can hear that.
Can't hear you.
So what part? I missed a little part because someone knocked on the door. My son was like, "Come on, come on." So what did I miss, y'all?
Well, Deborah had asked about her experience with speaking with animals and insects, and so Mary just talked about it. It's just that it is a gift that Deborah has.
Yeah, Deborah stayed with the birds. I've seen that. And I think Jax was asking what part of Canada is.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Okay, girl, you was on it. You on it.
I'm on it. Yeah.
Girl. Thank goodness.
I have had the honor to be in several ceremonies with that Mary has performed, and they are indeed magical. They are magical. And so I'm very blessed with having her in my life.
You know, I'm thinking about even the way that she delivers information is, when I say a stillness, it's like, it just makes me think how I need to calm my mind. Because I really think we've gotten to the point where we work so much and then we multitask and we're like always trying to do more than one thing at a time, that it takes away from us being able to connect as well. You know what I mean? Like, it takes away from us completing and absorbing and experiencing things fully. Sometimes I think when, like, even I could even imagine like just going to take a bath, like you're in a rush to take a bath, like everything is like you're in a hurry to do everything. And so even at the beach, you know, like she's saying, going to the shore, I noticed even at the beach, like I couldn't even stay there for more than an hour. Like I don't know what it takes for me to relax. And probably somebody would say you probably need a joint or something. But it's like you know, being safe in the body and just being still in the body. I would love to talk about that.
So I just want to say this, you know, when Mary talks, you can tell she is that shaman because she's talking, but she's giving you a teaching and she's talking to your soul. And so the words are coming through, but it's the energy that is accepting by you. You know, she's imparting a teaching. And I think that's really important to understand how teachings come. When you are dealing with spiritual things, there is a connection at the soul level. And that is that calmness, that is that imparting of information that we become receptive of.
Now, there's some more things that you want to discuss with Mary today. What were those things that you wanted to? Because I also too would like to talk to her about the body diva and feeling safe inside the body.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, we were talking about the whole thing, you know, with the celestial, you know, and connection with the earth and stars. I think she's just covering it all, right? Just by her. Yeah, you know, she's just encompassing everything when she talks.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Deborah. Deborah's in the shop. How far are you from the Journey to the Truth conference, Deborah? Because I'm wondering, like, I mean, we need to swoop on and see the shop if it's close enough. And always go on. And then Deborah says, "Hey, Terry," absorbing everything she's saying. Yeah, it is. It is. You know, when you're in the presence of certain people, it challenges you to reflect on yourself sometimes. And I think, you know, like some people become challenged by us and they call it being triggered because there's something about it that they don't like. But sometimes you can be around a person that's so peaceful, it challenges you to question, how can I be more like it? You know what I mean? How do I get to that place where that person is? And that's why I say we challenge each other. Some people like the challenge and some people don't, you know. And Mary, can you hear us? We can
Now I can. Now I can
Woo!
hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Girl, loud and
Good.
clear.
Good.
We were
Good.
just talking about your magical presence and the teachings that you bring and the words of wisdom you impart and the teaching that you have been sharing with us, and we are very appreciative of it. Thank you.
Aw. Oh, you're
Yeah.
well. Seriously, it's it's a good journey. We have to share our good stuff. We have to. Because if we don't share, then how are we supposed to know that each other is even out there? It's a
Right.
support system as well. Like energy is supported by more energy. Also, remember that. So, if you're thinking of yourself like a little ball of energy, two balls of energy, three balls of energy, 10 balls of energy, 20 balls of energy is going to push each other along nicely on like nothing is everything is about the experience. So even being here together is an experience for each of us to take and be a part of each other's energy field, right? We share. So yeah, sometimes it's hard, but it's good. Hard doesn't mean that negative. Hard can be challenging. Just think of it as a spiritual athlete as your life lessons come about, right? Yeah.
If there were no challenges, what would we do?
Well, we
What
wouldn't
would you
know.
what we would yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't know.
Yeah.
We wouldn't know the differences in colors. It would all be the same. We wouldn't know the differences in people. We would all look the same. Because remember that everything that we're given is also a part of our learning, teaching, and growing, even our body, even the earth, the cosmos, the sky, the
Mm.
stars. It's about the existence of energy. It's about it is what it is. It's so you have to be able to differentiate between what works for you and what works for me may not work for you, and what works for Terry may not work for me, or what works for you see. But it doesn't mean I don't respect anybody's place, whether it be, it doesn't matter who it is. Even the person that has the hardest experience in life has something to teach me, to remind me of gratitude and grateful, and to be kind and not be judging either, because they're where they're at in their place, which is equally as important as mine. So
And
if I'm meant, so if I'm meant to go across and help dig wells somewhere else in the world, that means that that's what I'm sent to do. So if I'm meant to it does if I'm in an accident, it means that I'm meant to stop and be present. If I looked at everything as without meaning behind it, I would be a very bitter human being. Bitter. So instead of choosing bitterness, I choose love. I choose love. And that's my choice. But if somebody else chooses something else, that's to be respected, that's their choice.
allow it.
Allow it.
Allow
Like I heard yesterday after I went to one of the most racist places I've been in a long time. And anyway,
it.
it was a challenge for me. And I went like this: educate and be kind. And that's what I did. And then on the way home, because they insisted on picking me up and dropping me off, and I thought, okay, why did I say yes to this? Why did I say? On the way home, a story came up about a man that used to sit on the curb of Yeah, on the curb of a grocery store that I used to visit, and my daughter and I used to visit, and she always went in and bought him a sandwich and either a Gatorade or a juice or a great big chocolate milk. She always bought him something lovely to eat and drink. And he was such a neat old guy. And the story came up about his life and how he had passed. And I went, oh, he will be missed. He would be missed. Even though he sat on the curb and was homeless, and he died on a picnic bench in a park, in nature, the way that he probably would have wanted to go. But just the fact that he will not only be missed by me, but that he was a conversation where everybody took care and was spent time with him. What a gift. What a gift. A gift from my daughter. She learned humility. A gift for myself, generosity. And, the worth of his spirit will impact her forever. How about that? Maybe me too. See? Everything has purpose. I choose love. I choose kindness. I choose forgiveness of myself and others. I choose love from others. I choose. I choose to be present in the moment and trust that divine creation has such an incredible plan where I can do my work and be in love with life. Like, oh, I feel beloved. And that's that. So there's lots of teachings, there's lots of life lessons. We just need to be open. So I guess that's why I was at that meeting, was to hear that story and be able to say a prayer of gratitude and thanks to the spirit who impacted not only me, but so many people by sitting on a curb and receiving well. Ha! How gorgeous is that?
I think that's the difference between loving life and hating life. It's like we can have the same life, we can have that same hard experiences, and people say, how do you make it? How are you smiling? And you're, because you're coming from a different level. It's you're looking for things to appreciate. You're looking for love instead of reasons to be angry.
Mm-hmm.
And even with those reasons, things that do even make you angry, you're still looking for meaning of life. And if you want joy, you're gonna find it, right? Like if
Oh,
you want
yeah.
meanings. I think some of us, we were experiencing like things not showing up on time, things being missing, plans not working out as you feel they should. You got these big plans, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, there's this thing called divine timing. So there must be this reason.
Yeah. Yeah. And when things go missing, remember that spirits can move energy. You need healing? Start calling on the spirits to give you the energy to heal your body, to heal your mind, to heal your spirit. One doesn't work well without the other. It is a braid of sweet grass, the mind, body, and spirit all entwined together in a strand of 21 strands, circle of 22. So, there's divine messages in everything. There really is.
I like the way that you mix that together to explain it, because to me it was explained like your body is the body diva, like understand that your body is a vessel, and then your spirit is this other thing that has to unite with the body. And it's like, understand that we work in cooperation. If you're working out of cooperation,
That's right.
like my spirit wants to be up all night and read and do everything, and my body says, I need you to lay your behind down, or else I'm going to give you some neck pain or some, some eye strain, or we're going to have a fight up in here if you
Yeah.
don't listen to me, and being safe, becoming to that point where you become safe in the body. So these things I love.
That's really important that you said that, being safe in the body, because sometimes our bodies aren't safe.
Right.
And that's something we have to think about. Sometimes, whether it be pain or we're in a situation where, there's been so many terrible things happen to body. But we also have to understand that there's something more than body, the spirit and the mind. So, the mind is put in sync with the body. So it's the body, it's the earth, the body, the mind inside the body, and the spirit inside the mind and the body. So it's a divine connection, or it's an energy connection. I don't want to use that word divine. I think it's divine personally. I think it's fantastic. But it is an amazing journey of light that is in movement all the time. And we're not going to be perfect because we're body. We're not just spirit. Spirit's perfect. It's just getting the rest of us inside of there to agree. And what happens if the mind needs medication? Give it medication to help balance the chemicals in the brain. Give it the bridge until it knows how to do it itself. If the
Mm.
mind, yeah, and if the mind is so different than somebody else's that there is a disconnect from society, know that it's up to the rest of us to love that individual, no matter what, without judgment. Just love, because they're there to teach us something special, like that man on the curb. His life was far from perfect. And I don't know whatever happened to him, that he was homeless. And he was homeless. I don't know. But I am not going to be the one to judge his reality. His reality is his, because it's his experience. And if he needed was the perfect love of a child to give him a sandwich so he could travel, I am okay with that. We have to start releasing those judgments that we have that are harsh, and choose that love. We just have to keep on choosing and choosing and choosing, and learn, because we're very fallible. We're fallible because we're of solid tissue. We're not just, which is a form of energy. Like, this could end up being 10 books,
Right.
right?
Well, since
But
you said that
yeah,
it brought to mind the thought of self-righteousness, because I think
yes,
that's the most destructive part of what our experience is. And I was also reading
it's
that
also bad.
we were infiltrated by this thing called the divine darkness that
Mhm.
introduced this self-righteousness, and it's been entered into religion to actually
Mhm.
slow us down from connecting. Like, we would
Yeah,
think religions were introduced to help us connect, but it was infiltrated with divine darkness to actually stop us from ascending, to my understanding. I don't know what
I think there's great lessons in it.
yeah.
I think that darkness, I think that darkness is just another window. I think it's just another window.
Right. And you can choose it.
Well, we're going to see it every once in a while because we always look out the window. I
Yeah.
don't know about you, but I'm a curious
Let's
personality.
stay in the window. I'm nosy.
I will look at, I've done that dance of looking through the window and looking at, and I can't say that I haven't ever, it makes it sound like I've lived this perfect life. It's been far from perfect. And I've had to look through those windows of darkness to learn about. And I don't even want to judge the dark and light, really. I really don't, because just because it's dark doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's dark. We do different ceremonies. Like one of the ceremonies I hike to is I have this room of complete blackness in my house. And in those dark spaces, because it takes me to nothingness, is where I do fantastic healing work. So I don't know. I can't even go there. It's just there. It's training. Eh, who
You
said
saw
that?
it. Well, you saw what Jonathan said. He said it is
No, what did it say? Okay,
good
Jonathan.
night. He just said what you said.
Oh,
Is that like another training workout exercise? That's what he said.
yeah. It's just a different doorway that we become present in. It doesn't mean it's been affiliated to danger and bad. It's not bad or dangerous. It's the human being who's made it that. And so in our fear and in our place of pain and judgment becomes those fears. But in fears also comes great guidance, because there's a lot of learning in fear. Some of the things that we have to deal with in today's world, like with different personalities and stuff, is the new buzzword is narcissism, right? Well, okay. What do you do with a narcissist? You become patient, you become still, and you go, I'll think about that. And narcissists often will rage and rant and be mean, and you go, I'll think about that. That's something to consider. And that's all you need to do.
I'm
Just
so
because just because somebody else is in pain,
it's the crying baby.
it's
It's a
everything.
it's that screaming baby. And
And sometimes we visit, like in some of the teachings that I carry, like when we're talking about the East and the South and the West and the North, that takes us back to the East door, which is the child within, and it becomes our responsibility to pick up the child within and take care of it and grow up to be a good adult that can take care of that baby. Well, maybe they just haven't picked up their baby. So you can choose to forgive them for being mean, but that means that you took it in, right? And I know this from experience. Let me tell you, I've done a lot of work on this. Or you can just go, I'll think about that and give them their moment to cry.
I'm
Just because they cry differently than I do
I did.
doesn't mean that their way is different than mine, right?
Are
It
you
just
thinking
is
there's
what it
too
is.
this overusage of this narcissist? Because
Well,
it just is really easy for people to throw that wand out and be like, zing, 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 the person's a
well,
narcissist.
I think I do think it's a bit of a trend right now, but I also think because of all of the fear of artificial intelligence, all the fear of space, of alien life, of this, of that, and having to grab power in any way that they can grab it to try to center themselves into something. And so they look at their worth very differently. Different doesn't mean better or worse, just differently. but it's up to me because it doesn't fit really well into my existence for me to go, I'll think about that. And understand that people have their own pain. And it just means that I may not be able to spend a lot of time in that energy because I just can't. And that's okay too.
Right.
So it's okay to not be okay.
Right.
And it's okay for you to say, what kind of love do I want in my life?
And you can still send love from the higher heart. I don't have to be with you. I
Absolutely.
don't have to be in a
I,
relationship with you, but
yes,
I can love you from
yes.
up
I
here.
love you. I love you. And I let you be. I let you
I
be.
let you be.
I
I
let you
let-
be. Doesn't have to be anything else. I let you be. Yeah. You let me be. I'll let you be. We'll be. And we'll walk on this planet together
And then there's
or apart.
me, you being the bad guy in my story, and then I'm the bad guy in your story.
Oh, I've been the bad guy.
And then, but what if and then sometimes people may not see it, but you're sometimes the bad guy in your own story.
Of course
So
you
you're the
are.
victim of you. So you're
Yes.
constantly
Yes.
changing,
Yes.
constantly
Absolutely.
experiencing.
Yes. And learning how to love yourself always. Always. Not always. Always.
Always. I love
Mm-hmm.
this, Mary. We're like, ooh, like vibing on this energy because it's like you've been the slave, you've been the slave owner, you've been the royalty, you've been the peasant, you've been a man, you've been a woman, we're going through
All of
different
it.
windows.
Yeah. Different windows. Different timelines. Different windows. Different experiences.
I relate that to Osiris as he goes through the 12 gates, right? He
Mhm.
goes 12 gates. He has to experience it. And we change through the zodiac. We move through
Mm.
that. So
Yep. Yep. And a cycle of 22, right?
yeah,
21 and 22. Like there's all these different cycles and movements and chains of existence. Just pick your train and get on it.
right.
Where do you want to go?
So then I'll throw out the magic word attachment,
Mhm,
detachment.
mhm. Existence, non-existence.
Existence, non-existence.
But we're existing. We are because we breathe. And so we have to honor that and do the best with what we can.
I
But
love
that's
the
my
idea of picking up
perspective.
your baby.
Yeah.
Pick up your baby. Pick up your baby. Hug
Pick up your
yourself. Love
baby.
yourself.
Yeah, pick up your baby. What do you need? What do you need? And what do you want? There's nothing wrong with wanting. That's how you create your dreams and your new realities. That's how that's the gift of manifestation right there. What do you want?
Mm, 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 mm.
But to have what you want, you also have to meet the need. And that you can always ask your inner child because it always knows. I don't know about you. I just like to dance in that south door with the teenagers right now. I'm having so I may be physically in that north door, but right now I'm dancing in the south.
All right.
Yeah.
Terry, tell us something. I know this has got you bubbling in some way that you have something and you're hiding from us.
Yeah, you know what, I'm absorbing the teachings. I've heard many words here that just, and I just want to say, talking about the train, it's like, okay, well, now I'm on another platform and it's like, what train am I going to take? Am I going to go the eastbound, the westbound, the northbound? Am I going to go back? Like there's just opportunities, right? And it's just what we want to experience. Um, and we have to just trust that we're going to be guided by our soul, by our spirit, to say, yeah, I think today we're going to take that train.
And those four directions are also the spiral of life. So you
Right.
can also experience them all at once.
Around the world in 80 days.
I think if it coming to this understanding, sharing what you shared today, this can help people feel better about making a choice and moving forward. Because I think there is the what is it? The stagnation comes. We're too afraid and we sit on decisions, and we get trapped just thinking
Mhm.
and not doing, not moving forward. So now if you understand that you can experience them all. Just
Yes,
go try this today. Don't. And I
that's
think
right.
this is it. Is this not why we get trapped in our identity? Because you went to college for 12 years and you became a doctor, and your identity is now a doctor. And if that
That's right.
identity is taken away because you get lose your license, right?
Yeah.
Now people lose their minds, and because they're in this identity and they have so much attachment to it that they can't release these identities.
Mhm.
I had a friend who got divorced and he said, I failed. And I was like, whoa. No, you tried something and that didn't work. So now you just try something else. Like it's not, it's like
Yeah.
ice cream. It's not, you don't get an F
Mm-mm.
on
But
the paper.
there's another thing that we have to touch on, basically, a little basic one, and that is also responsibility.
Yeah.
Have you served your responsibility to your spirit?
Ooh.
I Yeah. So that's another whole thing that we'll look at another time for sure. Is responsibility. And it's really quite lovely. It can be very good. But just because that's again personally made, right? Responsibility. Because somebody else's idea of responsibility is different than each other's. So yeah. How do you serve? How do you serve? And speaking of serving and choices, so if we're talking about experiences, let's take it down to just something very basic. You have a plate of food. On the different plate of food, you have your 4 food groups. One is not supposed to taste the same as the other, right?
God.
Each one is an experience of the senses that you were given and then the intuition of what you're meant to have. The vibration of food is another form of life. It's a vibration. Energy moves, even through what nourishes us, right? Like there's so many different things we could do with this. So many different things. Yeah.
So moving out of the paralysis of analysis, that was the word that I got stuck on it.
Wonderful. Yes.
Moving out of that into the experiences and not being afraid that the brush strokes aren't perfect, but get out, yeah, to just get out there and experience it. And this is all part of our inner cosmos.
Absolutely.
Our inner cosmos.
Absolutely. 100%. And remember that the ancient teachings of all societies have the cosmo teachings. All of them do. Not one has been left out.
I think that's why getting together to share it and look at it in different cultures and seeing the similarities of it would
Yes.
be eye-opening for people, because
Mhm.
we live in our little space and we think it's just us.
Never just us.
No.
Think about all the little critters that walk on your body. You're never alone. Never. Never mind this. What they're. We won't even go there.
Mary, I used to think that my head was a planet and like my skin cells or dandruff was like the inhabitants. Not that I had
Well,
that much dandruff, y'all. I did not have a lot, but in my mind, I just saw it like, oh, when it rains, that's like me washing my hair. Like I had this whole like, what if we're on someone's head and this is what our planet is
well, you
ahead?
weren't so wrong, were you? Yeah, you're not
I
so wrong.
and
Not
this
so
is
wrong.
like a
Yeah.
4-year-old mind, and yeah, I was really feeling it.
That's
It's
amazing.
like
Yes.
Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss's Horton Hears a
Horton
Who.
Hears a Who. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How good is this, eh?
The levels on top of levels on top of levels of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 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 It's pretty lovely.
Yeah. Deborah's customers are listening. How are you all? We got that's lovely. Thanks. She said she shared the channel information. This and then we'll share Mary, how do we connect to you? How can people connect to you? Did we
Oh,
get a
geez.
new
Yeah, I have a website. It's marywilson.ca, or they can call me. They can phone me. I think my phone number is even on the website, but I'll give it out. 204-997-7538. There we go.
All right. Let's see.
Yeah, they can reach me through my website quite easily.
Ooh, that pops up nice. I'm gonna share it on the screen. Get in touch. All right. Oh yeah. What's everybody saying? Okay. And Terry, did you have?
I have to say, I'm so grateful for Erica because she's so in touch with all of this electronic stuff, and she just knows exactly what to do.
She does.
Oh my Lord!
And she knows how challenged technology is with me.
No, honey, I'm holding on. Somebody asked me to do something today, and I was like, back up. But yeah, here we go. So you can see that website. It is up. Qualifications and experience. And that beautiful picture. Let's go home. Oh, wow. Are you teaching any classes coming up anytime soon?
Yeah, I'll be teaching again. Yes, I'll be teaching classes again. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some retreats and yeah. Yeah, and
I just want to say one thing. The first workshop I ever did was Mary's Journey into Life workshop. And that was many, 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 many years ago. I think it was one of the first ones she did. And it was very life-changing.
Yeah. Yeah, we do lots of different workshops. We're going to be doing some healing stuff coming up. Yeah, so stay tuned. And some people just bring me to their region. It depends. Yeah. I don't mind traveling at all. Not at all. I travel lots. It will be good.
Terry, you went back on mute. You're not getting off that easy. Come back.
I just don't want to interfere.
Oh, you're not. Never.
I mean, with the extra background noise.
So, Terry, would there more that you wanted to expand on? More that you wanted to?
You know what? I think that Mary covered so much territory now that
I believe so.
Yeah,
because I felt like we got wrapped up into some blankets of the cosmos and wrapped up in the stars. And I mean, I know I really hit a feel good inspirational moment. So it was like, yeah, do it. We can live. Be safe in the body, feel safe in the body, make choices and go figure out more about life. Because I would say this, like with love, relationships, friendships, with business ventures, all these things, like to me, I just feel like everything I try, I might not have to do it forever, or I might change my mind. But everything that I'm doing, I feel like it's just one thing to figure out what satisfies me. You don't know. Like you think you want apple pie until you have apple pie and you're like, wait a minute, okay, I tried that, now let me try peach. And I think, well, okay, we're trying to discover, and I think
Yes.
people should give themselves more credit for discovering instead of I think what they're trying to sell us is this, a mortgage,
Mhm.
right? A place to die. You know what I mean? Like you got to get this job and you got to keep it 40, 60 years and you got to retire. And then, even some of these relationships, like we figure it out. And they're not mistakes. To me, it's just one thing getting me closer to understanding myself and understanding what it is, what do I want? What do I want to be when I grow up? And I'm 50 this year. And I'm still learning what I want to be when I grow up. And I can still change my mind. And I think too, a lot of people are trapped. They feel trapped because, well, I told everybody that I was going to do this and that I'm going to, and then you change your mind. Now you feel trapped in your decisions but you can't worry about,
No.
well, I changed my mind. You don't have to explain it to anybody. Honestly, you don't have to explain all your decisions. Being responsible still, how you say, but you don't have to explain all your decisions to people.
No.
It's that comfortable confidence. Like this woman has confidence to believe in dragons. A lot of us, like if you we'll be scared to say stuff that we truly believe and feel in public.
Yeah.
Or even in private. Because we're not comfortable with who we are.
And if you don't know, you go like this. I'll think about that.
I have one friend who says that could be argued. And I thought, oh, that's a good one. Yeah. So it's, no one thing.
Yes.
No one thing.
That's right. So I'm going to say, till the next time we meet, I will see you again.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we got that. We shared enough of that. And it was still scrolling on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
And she rolled out. And so, Terry, I guess I'll end the live stream, or we'll start like a whole other conversation.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I think she had some other things to.
Terry, do you want to pull a card since we did this? I feel
card?
Something now. I feel
Okay,
something.
well, hold on. Since we were talking about the map.
Yeah. I swear, this is this whole teachings of today. I was talking with someone yesterday, and I sent him the link to this, and I said, when you're watching this, you know who you are. I was like, this is a mirror of our conversation yesterday. It is amazing. Even about taking risks on love, about making a commitment to yourself, because we make contracts with other people, but let's work on our contract with ourselves, the things that we desire and things we want to experience, and things where we won't allow people to take away from us. You know how we have inalienable, well, with the Constitution, you're supposed to have inalienable rights. Well, what about giving yourself inalienable rights where you have this list, your declaration, where you will not compromise on these things that you do for yourself? Because I think now when we get in relationships with other people, some people, we get lost and we lose parts of ourselves because we're dealing in these relationships, right? And we end up letting go things and not even remembering who we are sometimes. But there's some basic things that you require. Respect, mutual respect and love and time for yourself and your own interests and your own hobbies and your own friends and your like there's just honoring yourself and not becoming a doormat for someone else so that you become basically like just what I said, a doormat for someone else.
Right.
I think we have to give ourselves a new spine. Yes, it was fun with Deborah. Said
Yeah.
that. Mary, about Mary.
Yeah. So from the map, we're wide open. And we're the compass. Wow.
Wow.
This is amazing here.
That's expansive. That's our word this week was expansive.
Yeah, and we have a dry desert. So it's these are interesting cards. With the wide open is that there's possibilities for us, whatever we choose. We're open to anything, right? We're going to allow whatever it is that our spirit wants us to experience. And the compass is like, just follow wherever you're going to go. The compass is not going to our spirit is not going to lead us in the wrong direction. Like Mary said, it's all a spiral, right? And we can experience all those directions at one time. So that's what the compass is that wherever our spirit is going to lead us. And it's we may feel like the dry desert, but there's so much life in the desert. And so sometimes even where we are in our life right now, maybe we're feeling that we're not going anywhere, but we are. We're just not necessarily recognizing what is there for us. And we may be at this point in our life where we're just saying, I'm really not happy here. But it's that point that gives us the most power, is like our spirit has brought us to this point. And the point is, what is it that I need to uncover? What is it that's going to now move me into the direction I'm leaving myself wide open, but I'm at this point of discovering what it is that my spirit wants to experience. So I think sometimes we have a challenge with not being present with where we are. We want to move past it, but sometimes it's receiving and being open to what it is we're experiencing right now. And maybe there is a stillness. Maybe we feel we're not going somewhere, but maybe this is what we need to experience now.
It's that divine timing. I swear, I'm getting to the point where now I'm not really arguing when things don't show up or work out as planned. I'm looking to see what is it that I'm either missing or that I should focus on, or why is this happening? Why is this happening now? And maybe examining where, remember in the beginning of the year, I was having a really hard time. I was like, I was so frustrated. But then that frustration was new because, I've gone through these points where, hope is deferred, things are delayed. And I was all of a sudden just literally losing my temper because I was feeling like this isn't working when I want it to work. And then now backing back up into remembering, oh yeah, this is also divine timing. So tomorrow we're hanging out with somebody. Ooh, Terry.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that eclipse.
Yes.
Information, possibly, since we got the master of, what do you call them?
The quantum businessman, right?
Yeah, with the master of Mandela effects.
That's Mandela effects, yes.
The master of Mandela, Chris Sinatra. I love the colors on here. But yeah, we're going to talk about solar flares.
Yes.
You
in the
know,
eclipse.
Jerry, I think we're witnessing that. Like some blow ups. People are having some blow ups. So they're having their own solar flares.
That's right. There's yeah, exactly. They're solar.
Yeah. And so then we're going to talk about some divine destiny, the inner matrix, and grounding, because that I think is a lot of this is needed. So we're going to see. And I'm not even saying that this is just because of the effects of the solar eclipse. This is a time we were warned about where we're going to be seeing people who looked like they were running a good race. And then you're looking sideways like, what did that person just do? Like we're seeing people that fourth dimensional, that pocket dimension is being exposed. And we are starting to see some things about the people around us. And they were running a good race at first, but they're looking a little wonky. But I'm loving this poster. I think he liked it too. I said, well, you're the one looking like a model in the picture, but I love talking to Chris Sinatra.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes. This has been a magical, this is a magical week.
And I'm going to say, Terry made me do it. Terry set the schedule and she got me working day and night, y'all. She don't let me have no time. No, I was kidding. You know, sometimes you feel like, oh, I don't want to do this, or, you know, I don't know. I get kind of weird sometimes, but I'm so glad that we did that, because really that was really like bathing in the stars type energy right there. And I'm really happy. Yeah, it really was fun. And thanks for everybody hanging out. I know, Jax, that's that magic number 50. Because I never believe my friends are their age either. So anyway. All right, y'all.
Some of us are just ageless.
That's right. We're bending time right now.
That's right.
We're going to end the stream. Bye, you all, and see you tomorrow. And I think that's at 2:00, right? That's at 2.
Is that at 2? Okay. Not 3?
No, 2.
At 2. Okay.
2.
Good.
p.m. Eastern.
Okay. 1 p.m. Central.
That's right. All right, y'all.
Okay. Bye.